Hello everyone, welcome to the Kiran Academy. Today we are going to see interview questions, very important questions on access modifier topic. So let's start with the first question. What are the access modifiers in Java? So there are total 4 access modifiers in Java, that is public, private, default and protected. We will be explaining all these access specifiers in subsequent questions. So this is the first question. What are the access modifiers in Java? There are 4. If you want to know the meaning of access modifiers, this is for variables, methods and class. These are the 3 things in Java which are very important. Sometimes everything is not accessible to everyone. For example, let's consider a real-time example of our home, our family. Everything is not exposed to outer world. Some things which are secrets or maybe exposed only to our society, or maybe something which can be exposed to only neighbors. So similarly, map all these things which I told you in real time with the class variable method. Some methods might be everybody need. Some methods might be only inside a package. Some methods might be inside only class. Some methods might be only inside subclasses. So altogether, we use access modifiers just to control method, variables and class. So this is a descriptive answer for this question. What are the access modifiers in Java? This was first question. Let's move to second question. Second question is list the 4 access modifiers in Java. I already covered in previous question. There are 4: private, protected, default and public. Next, explain the public access specifier, or we can say access specifier also. Sometimes we can say access modifier as well. The public access modifier means that class can be accessed anywhere. Variables, methods, if they are public, then also they can be accessed anywhere in a project, in another project as well. Explain the private access modifier. We use private access modifier if you want to use something inside only class. Means if any variable is private, you can only access that variable inside that class only. Many a times, interviewer may ask you when you may want to make things private. If you say only to protect, it should not access outside, that is not a sufficient answer. Sometimes you need to say, let's say, I'll demonstrate this thing. This is very important. Let's say there is a class A. This is a very important example. You can always tell to the interviewer. And if there is a method private M1, then private M2, and there is another method public M3, then these M1 and M2 can be called from here. That means what? Instead of writing code inside public method, what we have done here, we have divided that code here. Means to achieve code distribution, we use private. So this justification what I have given, this is completely industrial. This is the industrial purpose. Many times we say no, it is not accessible outside, but that is not sufficient answer. Let's move on to next question. Protected access modifier. Many a time this has been asked because this is one of the difficult than other 3 access modifiers. Protected means the variables or methods which are protected can be accessed inside the same package but in another package as well, provided the calling class is a subclass of a class where protected member exists. Try to remember, don't say in other package from the subclass. No, that's not a correct answer. We need to call protected member with the help of subclass only if you are in the other package. Next, explain the protected access modifier. I think this question, protected access modifier, we have already seen the answer for it. Next is default access modifier in Java. Default means all the members which are default are accessible within the same package. Might be class, might be variable, might be method. It's very simple. Can a top level class be declared as a private or protected? Answer is no. Class can be only default or public, remember. What is the difference between public, protected, default and private access modifier? I already told you in previous questions, but still just to give you overview of all these things, simple. Let's say these are the two packages, package 1 and package 2. Let's say here some variable is public. This is X class, this is Y class. So this is accessible here, here as well as in other package Z. So this is public. If it is default, then only accessible within the package. Public means everywhere. Public can be accessible here as well as here. But default is accessible only within a package. If it is a private, let's say this is private, then only accessible within the X class, not outside. If it is protected, then it is accessible here as well as here, provided Z is subclass. So remember, in this way diagrammatically you can take screenshot of this if it is needed, but this is just I tried to explain you in a simple manner. Let's move on to next question. Can method have a higher access level than the class it belongs to? Practically no, because there is no sense of making it. First, outer box should be public. I mean to say, if class is default, variable and methods are public, doesn't have any sense. So you can explain that way. What is default access modifiers in Java? I already told you, if you want to access variables and methods inside the same package, then you should be having that as a default. Can interface have an access modifier other than public? No, all variables and methods should be public there. How does access control work in inheritance? It's very simple. If we have class A, that is superclass, and if we have class B, that is subclass, only if both are in the same package, then default things will be inheriting here. If both are in the different packages, then protected, if it is a subclass, then protected members will be coming here. Like that you should bring. If something is private here, then it will not inherit it. So consider, even if inheritance is there, things which can be inherited will only be inherited. It depends on the access specifiers. What is the significance of access modifier in context of security and code maintenance? This is last question. Code maintenance means, see, if you want to make something private, it should be private. Because if you make it public, then others start calling it, and then in future you get to know, oh, this method should not have been used somewhere. Then it will be very difficult to control that. Therefore, give proper access modifiers so that our maintenance will be reduced. Code complexity will be reduced, because 100 people will be calling, and then removing that code is very, very difficult. Next question is, what is the significance of access modifier in context of encapsulation? Try to understand. Encapsulation means binding of data into a single entity. Now, when you bind it, it should be really getting bound. How? Means if there are global variables should not get accessed by others, so that they will not put invalid values. So that is what the encapsulation. In encapsulation, you have your variables private and you have public getters and setters. And to achieve that, this private public which I am saying are the access modifiers. So how you should be explaining this question? Yes, there is huge significance of access modifiers while achieving an encapsulation, because we need to use private variables and public methods to access those variables. So that's the answer of this question. So with this question, we are finishing up interview questions on access modifiers. We'll be meeting you in next video, where more interview questions I will be bringing, and you can go to our shopping cart, where you can see lot of good courses like this only, which brings you very, very important knowledge, mostly industrial knowledge. Thank you.